News Desk, I am Emefa Akosiadete. Coming up this morning, Energy Ministry retrieves more than 2,600 missing containers belonging to the Electricity Company of Ghana. We'll hear from the ministry here on News Desk. And also on our desk this morning, Parliament reconvenes after nearly 2 months on break with a heavy agenda that will include confirming up to 7 judges to the Supreme Court. We have details. Also in this bulletin, we'll head to Lan Tingpa in the northeast Gonja district, where teachers roam the village each morning, pleading with parents to allow their children come to school.
Also, they looking at the structure of the school. It is also another factor, because when you look at the structure, no one will tell you that even a serious child or a serious parent will not like to bring the child to the school. The windows, the doors, even the ground, no even furniture, no enough furniture.
We've got more in our educational series, Crumbling Start. We've got these plus business updates on our decks. Do stay for details. In our first story, the Energy Ministry says it has retrieved more than 2,600 containers belonging to the Electricity Company of Ghana. This number represents about twice the number of containers presumed to have gone missing with their contents. And now let's get further details as Richmond Roxon joins us and he speaks for the Energy Ministry. Thank you. Good morning. And thank you for joining us this morning. And so let's get some clarity. The Daily Graphic actually reported, and as well, we're also confirming that it's a little over 2,000 that you confirm that you found. This is quite a double of what we earlier heard was gone missing. What's accounting for this number?
Good morning to your viewers. Let me just take your step to give to put the matter in perspective. You'll recall that in December 2024, during the transition period, the previous administration furnished some information to the incoming government and the current government. And that what the previous administration provided was that ECG had over 3,000 containers at the ports which had not been cleared. Fast forward, when the Minister of Energy assumed office, his engagement with the ECG was informed that ECG had about 2,500 containers at the port. Due to this discrepancy, the minister set up a committee to investigate these issues. Upon visit by the committee, it also emerged that 2,300 of these containers unaccounted for. The government set up an agency comprised of national security, the Ministry of the port to investigate and take steps to retrieve these containers. Based on the committee's work, I can confirm to you that 2,637 of these containers have been traced, and at the ministry possession of 2,583 containers, which have safe custody at the port at the moment.
Okay, Richmond, if you can just reposition yourself so I can hear you clearly. So this little over 2,600 containers, you'd confirm that it includes the 1,300 that earlier was reported. Is it inclusive?
Yes, it includes that. Initially that was what was reported, but upon the verification and validation, the total number as it stands has been retrieved is 2,637.
Okay. Richmond, and so at this point, who didn't do what's right? Is it the briefing the minister had that it was 1,300, or we just jumped the gun just a little, because the difference is a bit wide? And so I'm just trying to understand how now we're finding 2,600 when initially we reported that 1,300 had gone missing.
The initial assessment was based on the briefing the minister had. And because the minister was not too convinced, the minister decided to set up a committee to investigate that. So, but for the committee, we wouldn't have these figures that we are talking about. Let me take the opportunity to also thank the people of Ghana. There are people who volunteered information for the committee and the mission. Once don't pass number that were even at initially, they also suggest that there's a possibility that more system investigations continue. So that's why investigations are still continuing. Beyond investigation retrieve, there are also criminal investigations to make sure that those who are in charge held liable responsible for their acts. I can confirm that some staff have stepped up and friends go from the have also spoken in relation to this matter. The former CEO of
I'm not sure. You're breaking. Otherwise, we really would love to hear the clarity, but you're breaking and we can't hear you. We'll try again. So this 1,300, it came from the committee first. They
so
did
the 1,300 missing containers or unaccounted for containers came from the initial committee set up by the minister. What this current committee is made up of national security, port, and the other agencies have done is to trace the containers.
Okay.
And that is what, at this point, 10,637 have been found.
Okay, out of the initial number, which is about 3,000 or a little over 3,000, right?
In fact, that is what we're informed. The initial number from the transition was 3,000. The number put out by ECG was 2,500. And that is why these investigations are ongoing to retrieve all containers in the system.
Okay. So the committee, what are they doing? Auditing or investigating particularly?
Both. But the investigation comprises of a number of things. Auditing, verification, tracing, validation. All that is being done by the committee.
Okay. So subsequently, any number, any information that you relay will be coming from this committee?
Yes. Any information relayed by the ministry will come from the committee or the general public. If anybody has any information concerning that, why not? The ministry is ready and willing to take the information and act on it or refer it to the committee for it to be investigated. And I said this matter is still being investigated by national security.
Okay.
And with time, the Attorney General takes steps to advise on the way forward and then take steps to if the AG finds that people have questions.
Okay, so this 2,600 containers so far, you can confirm that the contents that is in there is intact?
Point no. So there is a directive from the Chief of Staff that the content of these containers should be taken. There should be an inventory so that we can know exactly what is contained in these containers. That has not been done yet. The directive was issued by the Chief of Staff recently. That will be done, and then whatever the results are, will put out. Chief of Staff has also directed that once you find, once the audit or the inventory is done, because of the peculiar nature of these operations and the fact that they will need some of these materials, it should be moved from the port to ECG safe warehouse so that they can use it. Some people are complaining that they have electricity challenges, even though our generation exceeds demand. Once it has to do with some of these materials that you need, definitely it will be better for it to be handed to them. But like I said, it doesn't mean the investigation has ceased or it has ended.
Okay, so far the 2,600 containers that we're learning that we've just found, we found them in the port as well. What was the challenge? Why? I mean, I can appreciate that you said that the numbers are quite conflicting in the initial stages, but this 2,600, were they in the port, outside of the port, around the port, behind the port? What's the report saying?
So for the 2,600 that have been audited, there are some that were outside the port. There were some that were located in the port. And on your question on what was the cause of this, one of the challenges that the committee realized had to do with procurement. The procurement system or policy in place for ECG is a very challenging one. They procure goods, data that they have does not match the goods they procured. And among these 1,600, there are instances where ECG's data, we found containers that were not part of ECG's data. And the instances where the data ECG provided, the containers were not there to show for it. So those are some of the challenges, but investigations are still to ensure that it's done.
Okay. Give me a little update on the 40 that was traced when we reported the 1,300 that had gone missing earlier in March. There were 40 that we said that were traced. What's the update with that? And if we have any persons as well whom you have started investigating?
I didn't get the initial part of your question, but if you are speaking about investigations, like I mentioned earlier, former managing director for ECG has been invited by the national security. His cautionary statement has been taken, and investigations are still ongoing. Some staff of ECG have been asked to step aside pending investigations, and then other persons who have some duty of care when it comes to this matter have also been questioned. So investigations are still ongoing. We rely solely on the investigative agencies and the Legal Attorney General to give an advice and on the way forward.
Okay, I was actually asking particularly the 40 that was traced initially when we heard about the 1,300 that had gone missing.
Yes, the 40 is still, yes, the 40 that was traced and found at the warehouse of some Indians. It is also part of the investigation that is being conducted.
Okay. Okay, so far we don't have new persons who have been arrested in connection to that particular 40 containers that was traced earlier.
Many people have been invited for various reasons. I don't want to put out specific names. That will be the work of the investigative agencies and the Attorney General.
Okay. So far, just for the clarity for the public, 2,600 traced. This 2,600 includes the 1,300 that was initially reported. If you put this together, it will be part of the very initial number, a little over 3,000 for your initial briefing during the transition period, correct?
Yes, your mathematics is right. And that is why the committee believes that investigations must still continue. But if you mention 3,000 and so far, the numbers appear to suggest that we choose more than that or anything close to that. Definitely the investigations must not stop.
Okay, which means that we're still missing a few, and that's why the investigation as well is still continuing.
We cannot say categorically, because if we had the data, and if we knew we're dealing with 5,000 containers or 3,000 containers, it would have been easier to do what to put to meet the statement you just made. But once you are finding more containers than some of the figures that have been given by the institution itself, then it raises the question of whether or not the data being provided is credible.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Richmond, for talking to us this morning. Now, away from that, the Parliament of Ghana is resuming this morning after nearly 2 months on break. The House went on recess at the end of March and is expected to reconvene with a packed agenda, which may include confirming 7 judges to the Supreme Court. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kiko Asante reports.
Parliament's first meeting was nothing short of a political roller coaster, from the chaotic scenes at the appointment committee sittings to the bombshell accusation on the floor, which branded late former President Jerry John Rawlings a murderer. The House seized headlines for the right and wrong reasons. Yet in the midst of all that turbulence, Parliament managed to confirm all 56 ministerial nominees presented to the House by President John Dramani Mahama. And as the second meeting prepares to kick off, Joy News understands Parliament is preparing for a legislative marathon after passing only a handful of bills during the last meeting. But perhaps one of the most consequential decisions Parliament will take will be a decision on 7 judges nominated to the Supreme Court by the President. Beyond bills and nominations, Parliament will be under pressure to prove it is more than just sound and fury. Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin vowed to hold to account MPs who vandalized state property during the appointment committee chaos. He promised not only sanctions, but full restitution for the damages caused. And then there's the lingering mystery. Who was that MP who referred to Dr. Zaneto Ajiman-Rawlings, MP for Korle Klottey, as the daughter of a murderer? The Speaker gave the House 1 week to produce the culprit. It's been 2 months since. It's just silence. With Parliament returning under such a cloud of unfinished business and unresolved controversy, all eyes will be on the chamber once more. Will it rise to the moment or sink further into the theatre of chaos? When it comes to Parliament, time always tells. Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante.
Let's take you live to Parliament for updates. Kweku, well, what can you report from Parliament now? And what's it looking like? What's the ambience like in Parliament?
Well, MFA proceedings is yet to begin, and in fact,
proceedings is yet to begin, and in fact, it was scheduled to start at 10 a.m. It hasn't started. As we know how things work out, it is not expected to start until maybe 11 or 12 noon, or perhaps even later. But you will see a number of MPs have already started coming in one after the other. Just gone by, I could hear from behind me, the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim, walking early on. The minority chief with Frank Anadompre had also come in, and so members of Parliament will be coming in one after the other. Also, being the first day of Parliament resuming, we would expect that there will be caucus meetings on both sides to try and firm up their own strategies for the day and also for the entire meeting. And so all that will be done before the Speaker of Parliament himself, if he is around, will come in, and then we'll hear the opening remarks from both leaders on both sides, and then the Speaker of Parliament himself will give his opening remarks. That is when we'll get a sense of what exactly will be happening in Parliament for this meeting and the agenda that will be on the table. But even before we get told officially by that, we do know what exactly the key issues will be. Of course, there will be bills. The last meeting did not cover a number of bills because it was the start and they had to deal with budget and other things. They did issues regarding the Gold Board bill, but that was it. For this particular meeting, we expect a lot of government's legislative agenda will come to the floor for conversation, for a debate, and ultimately decisions will be taken. And so that is that. But we'll also get to know about the 7 persons that John Mahama has nominated to the Supreme Court, which is currently at the Judicial Council. Our understanding is that that decision may have been taken by the Judicial Council already to approve them, which will mean the President will ferry same by a letter to the Speaker of Parliament. The Speaker will then refer same to the appointment committee. They will be vetted, and the decision will be taken. So definitely within the life of this meeting, the 7 members that John Dramani Mahama intends to put at the Supreme Court will be considered, and then a decision will be taken on them. We do not know if the President has yet to actually write to the Speaker of Parliament on those 7 Supreme Court nominees. If the names have come, the Speaker will read that on the floor today, and we'll get to know when the appointment committee will do their work. But just like also the report you played, there are 2 issues that the Ghanaian public will be looking for to see what Parliament does with it. The first matter having to do with someone who called Zaneto Ajiman-Rawlings the daughter of a murderer on the floor. At the time, the Speaker of Parliament did give 7 days for the Member of Parliament to put himself out and show up and be accounted. That Member of Parliament has not come forward. There's also the matter of the chaos that marred the appointment committee sittings of last meeting. That has also not been resolved. All these are outstanding matters that Parliament would have to deal with in this meeting. And it is starting this morning or this afternoon, whatever the case may be. This is the main focus of Parliament for this meeting, MFA.
Okay, cool. I won't have any more questions to ask you. You've just given us everything we need to know. And thank you. You're our man on the ground, and we trust that everything, when the chip starts to fall in Parliament, you definitely will bring us updates. Thank you. Now, still in Parliament, there have been calls for prices of goods and services to drop following the cedi's appreciation. Let's engage Member of Parliament's Trade, Industry and Agribusiness Committee on how the committee will handle this in the House, especially now that it's reconvening. Dr. Eko Kwanoe joins us for a conversation. Thank you for joining us this morning. And so we're just learning that Parliament will reconvene today. I mean, they have not started, but prior to the reconvening, there have been calls for, the reduction in prices of goods and services. Does this matter at all to the committee that you're a part of?
Thank you very much. The last name is Quino.
Oh, thank you. My yes. Side was just kicking in this morning. Thank you very much.
It's fine. Thank you. Yes, thank you for your question. And I believe that, like your reporter said, Parliament is resuming today. and definitely issues around trade remains critical to the work of the committee. And I believe that the chairman and the sector minister have basically started doing some work on this already. And as a committee, I believe that we'll be sitting to look at how we can complement government's effort to ensure that there's some sort of compliance with calls from the public as far as the prices of goods and services are concerned, so that they can get the optimal benefit from this appreciation of the currency that we've seen over the month and beyond. So definitely, I think it's very important for the committee to look at this issue. I believe that beyond the committee sittings, there's potentially going to be a statement on the floor of Parliament to support these calls that are coming from the various interested groups within the country.
Well, now that the city is appreciating very much, where a child can even tell and can experience it, the concern about importation of food, rice, poultry, what's the committee hoping to do, at least to reduce it? The current government has said that, of course, is one of their areas, especially on poultry. We import heavily. What's the committee's concern about this?
I mean, generally, I think government's intention is basically to reduce importation of goods and services that can generally be done within Ghana. And this is also a good call, because it allows us to improve job creation for everyone within Ghana. So as a committee, even beyond today, when we were on recess, I think we made various visits to a lot of companies that have engaged in local manufacturing of goods and services, basically to give them encouragement and to let them know that government is really poised to support their activities in order to also create jobs for our people. So all in all, I think that the word is engaging some of these groups to basically make sure that they underscore the need to watch their prices, and also if the importation of these goods are going to be reduced, then clearly the onus lies on government support and also getting them to basically increase their production to meet local demand, and also to get our people to benefit from what is happening in the economy.
Well, one of the major concerns for business owners, especially agribusiness, is financing. If you look at the budget that was presented in March, will you say that it's favorable to agribusinesses so far? Does it look like that? Has it created that financial environment that agribusinesses can tap in?
Yes, I think that by and large, one of the greatest pillars in the 24-hour economy basically is to help people within the farming industry to basically move away from the small kind of farming into commercial farming. That is why, in the wisdom of the president, he indicated that he's going to introduce farm banks and areas where people can basically get assistance as far as these huge implements that are used for commercial farming is concerned. Beyond that, the government has also introduced Feed Ghana, where basically it is reaching out to farmers within various communities to help them to improve and enhance the quantum of produce that they do. Beyond that, I think that also the budget makes it clear as to how much amount of money is allocated to the agricultural sector, basically to help them to support farmers in that regard. So you can see that clearly, by and large, I think government has seen the importance of the agricultural sector on the economy. I mean, if you take inflation, for instance, the food element of inflation is one that is very, very important as far as the CPI is concerned. And therefore, if agriculture is doing well, clearly they might have a much more faster movement as far as the consumer price index is concerned, and inflation for that matter. So I think that in terms of the food, the government appreciates the impact it has, and they are making a lot of effort to make sure that that support, necessary support, is put in place to help the agricultural sector to improve itself.
When this necessary support is made available, which you're also talking about, how are we ensuring that it reaches the smallholder farmers? they play quite a critical role in agriculture in this country. How are we going to ensure? What's the committee going to do to ensure that those who really need it, smallholder farmers, get to be part of this support?
I mean, the good thing I've seen on this government side is everything is going to be decentralized to the extent that, I mean, information is coming down. All the MPs that represent the various constituencies are getting involved in policies of government. And therefore, it's not going to be a situation where probably on the central side of things, everything is centralized. So information is coming, the ministers are up and running. Everybody is kind of busy trying to make sure that we are involved. And all these, programs that have been put in place by government is basically to ensure that things are decentralized to the extent that people benefit. That is the only way we can actually get people back to work. And beyond that, I think that there's also a reason for government to ensure that there's enough monitoring to ensure that whatever we put out there is being put to judicious use to prevent people from abusing whatever resources that are being put onto the Ghanaian farmers for them to improve the farming that they are doing.
I mean, for you personally, have you identified some regions that usually or in the past were performing quite well in terms of contributing to agriculture, but quite recently are underperforming? And is the committee considering what they can do for such regions to go back to the way they were producing much enough?
Well, if you ask me, I think that the issue of small-scale mining or galamsey basically had the biggest impact as far as cocoa production is concerned. That's why you saw that we've seen quite a huge decline in the cocoa production for quite a number of years now. And I think that there's also a concerted effort between the Trade and Industry Committee and agribusiness for that matter, with the stakeholders, i.e. Cocoa Board, the farmers themselves, and basically to get them to understand where we are and also the kind of support that we can give them. So by and large, I think that the agency remains on us to basically engage with various stakeholders as far as this conversation is concerned, to get them to also appreciate where we are coming from, and also we can work together to reach out for support to get to these farmers to bring them up to speed and also to increase production.
Well, finally, how soon will we hear from the committee? I understand that today Parliament is sitting, but how soon will we hear from the committee as to what you're doing to ensure all of these plans are implemented?
Well, I believe that the leadership, the chairman and the ranking and all the leaders of the committee basically will have a conversation. And I believe that in due time, you would definitely hear from us, because this is a matter of national importance to all of us. I think that the earlier we deal with this matter, it will be beneficial to all of us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Eko Quino. Thank you for talking to us this morning. Now, away from agribusiness and the CD appreciation, Ghana's Mpox cases now stands at 19 from an initial 2 cases recorded about a month ago. The Ghana Health Service on Monday reported 10 new cases. Director of Ghana Center for Infectious Diseases, Dr. Joseph Oliver, joins us. Oliver Comey joins us. Thanks for joining us this morning. Should we be worried? Should we be concerned, Doc? Oh, did I lose Doc? We'll try and reconnect, but I'll just give you an update on the Mpox cases whilst we try and reconnect with Dr. Joseph Oliver Comey. He is Director of Ghana Center for Infectious Diseases. And so currently, as of yesterday, 26th May, the data showed that 10 new confirmed cases, totaling to 19 confirmed cases. When it comes to deaths, of course, no, we've recorded 0 deaths and total deaths as well. New deaths 0, total deaths 0. But the 5 out of the total confirmed cases are on admissions, and we're trying to figure out, or we're trying to connect with Dr. Joseph Oliver Comey to find out how serious those who are on admission are, how are they responding to treatment, and the sharp increase to 19 is quite a lot. But let's try. Doc, if you can hear me, should we be concerned before we go into the figures? Should we be worried?
Thank you very much and good morning. You shouldn't be worried at all. Once we are looking for cases, definitely will find them.
Okay.
So we need not be worried at all.
Okay. Let's start with the 5 who are on admission. How serious is their condition?
In fact, for mpox management, we could either do home care or inpatient. Once home care is not available or it's not a required method, then we will admit. So I must say that even those on admission are not very sick, but because their home environments are not safe, that is why we are keeping them on admission. So they are not on admission because they are very sick, but they are on admission because home care is not suitable for them.
Okay, let's go to the numbers. That's sharp, 19 so far. What has accounted to the increase in number?
So we think that the increase in numbers is because we are looking for the cases. Currently, almost every region has sent samples as suspected. So you could have close to about 180 suspected, and then 19 confirmed from 6 regions. Some of the lesions or some of the people are presenting almost a week and a half after the rash began. Either they wouldn't have presented because they didn't see it much as a problem. But because we are talking about mpox, they came forward for us to check whether they also had mpox, and they turned out to be mpox.
Okay.
So the numbers have gone up because we are actually looking for the cases. And then there's a lot of public education. And it has been more or less destigmatized. So people are coming forward for assessment.
Okay, Doc, so this 19, are they closely related in any way, or these are separate individual cases?
I think close to about 90% of them are not related.
Okay.
We've only had one contact of one person becoming also symptomatic during this period. So just one contact out of all the several contacts that we've had.
Okay, which one of the regions is presenting to be more likely to have high numbers so far? Which
Currently, the Greater Accra region and the Western region seem to have the highest numbers.
Okay, Greater Accra, I won't be surprised, but Western region?
Yeah, Western region, you shouldn't be too surprised about the Western region.
Okay.
Looking at the communities from where we are getting some of the cases, we're getting mainly from the mining communities. So if we talk about a disease being a disease of contact, you should know that most of these mining areas, there are times that the people are not living in, let's say, proper homes. So maybe they are sharing utensils, they are sharing sponge, they are sharing towels, and then we are getting contact on some of these cases.
Right. Now, beyond you searching, you're not waiting for, beyond you searching, I'm sorry that I lost Doc again, but if we're unable to reconnect with Doc, we will try and connect with him in our subsequent bulletins to at least get more information. Whilst you are listening and watching, you want to stay out there and practice all the safety measures so that you do not come in contact with any of the lesions as well. But you're watching Joy News Desk. Let's do other stories next. And the Special Anti-Galamsey team set up by the Inspector General of Police has arrested 28 illegal miners in the Awin and Amenfi West municipalities of the Western and Western North regions. Despite ongoing raids in Summerboy and its environs, the miners were found operating in reserves close to Enchi. The team seized 3 excavators, bringing the total of excavators at the Summerboy camp to 99. Erastus Asari Donko reports.
It's been about 3 months now since the Inspector General of Police initiated raids, series of them, on Summerboy, Awin municipality, the Amenfi area, trying to raid the forest and the rivers here of illegal miners.
In the past 3 days, 28 illegal miners have been arrested at Papueso and Pantonso, both in the Awin and Amenfi West municipalities. Following screening of the 21 Ghanaian suspects and compiling of statements, 11 of the suspects were released on bail, whilst all 7 Chinese nationals and the remaining suspects have been transferred to Accra for prosecution. 3 excavators found operational at the 2 sites have been conveyed to the team's camp at Samreboy for safekeeping. This brings to 99 total number of excavators found at the Samreboy camp of the team at the moment. The team still faces stiff-necked individuals who continue to mine by roads, settlements, and forests despite the crackdown. At Papoiso, the team had to stop the continued pollution of this stream by individuals operating champagne machines. On our way to check the situation in the Tano Nimri Forest Reserve, the team accosted Prince Kwame Asante, a known frontrunner for illegal mining entities in the Apamprama Forest Reserve. A search in his car revealed a foreign pistol as he sent officers on a wild goose chase on his mission in the Tano Nimri Forest Reserve. The team has so far cleared villages along the Tano of the illegal miners who once occupied and polluted the river. The result of illegal mining, which has existed and thrived for close to 7 years, is visible along the Tano, the Samreboy township, along the main airstrip, and inside its forest. I commend them for sanitizing this area. We are heaving a sigh of relief. Although there are no jobs, we cannot mine in forests and water bodies. The police have really helped us.
Because
we have to stop them. Yes, we have to stop them. I wish the police would stay here to protect the forest.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's very nice. But my destiny is we don't have problem. But if they are mining into there to destroy the river, it is very bad. Yeah. Thank you.
So the fight is on. The team is not leaving anytime soon, and the IGP is on a relentless war against illegal mining. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asare Donko. Amenfi, our Win Municipality, Western Region, Western North.
Now, County Hene of Wamahenso traditional area, Nana Amwako Jampa, is pushing for the reintroduction of corporal punishment in pre-tertiary institutions to curb the growing act of indiscipline in senior high schools in the country. Have recorded a series of indisciplined acts among students over the past 6 months, prompting calls for action to stem the tides. Nana Jampa was addressing a deba of students, parents and stakeholders to climax the Students Representative Council Week celebration at Jamfi Kumanini Senior High School Technical School in the Ahamfo region. Emmanuel Edu Jamfi has more.
In the span of 5 months in 2025, Ghana has witnessed students in possession of guns, machetes, knives, catapults, and other harmful implements while in school, perpetrating violent acts against teachers and fellow students. In this regard, Nana Mwaku Jampa, the country of the Wamaheniso traditional area, in his remarks at the climax of the SRC Week celebration of Jiangui Kumanini Senior High Technical School in Wamaheniso, urged the government to reintroduce corporal punishment in pre-tertiary institutions to address the menace.
Primary school. and as you see a Murakola, it will be all baby and warrior, you can say, Muya, Kofi, Nanti, Okopia, and Hoko will be said, Oya Basabasa. Let us say, it is an English school, it is a media from the Abai Betimia. One my yes, I can, and I'm about to warm my identity among not a mesro.
Assistant Headmaster in charge of administration, Stephen Tia Adams, added his voice to the issue of indiscipline in senior high schools in the country.
You're watching Newsdesk. Please stay with me for business updates.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Artisans and other small to medium-scale enterprises are being offered capacity building financial opportunities to grow their businesses to impact local economies. Many of such enterprises are unable to meet requirements for financial assistance due to poor record-keeping practices. Chief Executive of Adanse Rural Bank, Daniel Amponsa, emphasized the bank's Njuman Koswo product is deliberately targeting artisans and small business operators for economic inclusion, giving special consideration for women and youth businesses. Nanaya Ojima has more in the following report.
The informal sector provides livelihoods for a significant portion of the Ghanaian population. Majority of the persons captured in the sector have poor record keeping, undermining their ability to acquire some business services despite their potential. With the Njuman Koswo products, businesses captured under the program will be extended financial advice for business growth. Daniel Amponsa is CEO of Adanse Rural Bank.
If need be that you don't have any access to finance and so you want to expand your business, we give you. We don't require much any big collateral because we know that they don't have any collateral facility to secure bigger loans as done to other commercial loans. However, these ones, the artisans, so even if you take in a group, then we do group solidarity. You guarantee me and I guarantee you, and then we assess the funds. The surety is that you must pay and I also pay, so that at the end, you don't put the bank into any crisis.
Under the Njuman Koswo product, 4 sub-products are designed to aid savings and investment culture aside from the loan being offered to the target group. These products, aside from the business expansion drive, plan for future occurrences that may impede business growth.
So, before we give you this facility, we also give financial literacy. We give you financial education. So it's not just give a loan or take a loan and go and do your work.
The initiative is being rolled out in partnership with GIZ, a German development agency. Cynthia Donko, a representative of GIZ, highlighted the broader vision behind the program.
So we decided to work with them, one, to prepare them to keep their books, manage their finances, so that they can have better records to access credit from the institutions. And they also prepare the banks to study their products, fine-tune it to meet the needs of the SMEs.
For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima, Fomena.
Now, Anglo-Gold Ashanti has commissioned a soap factory at Dochoa in the Boasso West Municipality to achieve goals under its enterprise development program. The investment valued at 1.8 million cedis is deemed a valuable step towards strengthening the local economy and enhancing the quality of life in communities.
According to Community Relations Officer for Anglo-Gold Ashanti, Edmond Odueje, the $1.8 million soap factory will create job opportunities and bring significant benefit to the people of Dochoa. The project is part of an ambitious 10-year socio-economic development plan made possible by the committed collaboration of local contractors Smell Company Limited and MC Hammer Company Limited. Mr. Odueje emphasized that the Obuasi mine is actively implementing transformative livelihood enhancement projects designed to empower women entrepreneurs. The Dochoa Soap Factory recognizes the critical role that women play in driving community development. The Anglo-Gold provided 32 women with 6 months' worth of raw materials to produce liquid and bar soaps.
As you can see, we are commissioning the soap factory for the Dochoa community. And this facility actually cost us 1.8 million Ghana cedis with the refurbishment, the machines that we put in place. What we did was to also add about 6 months of materials for them to be able to produce the soaps. As you can see, when we entered the room, we saw some of the soaps and then the liquid soaps that that has been produced. The optimal objective is to be able to get the women to be able to have alternative livelihoods. And that is why, as part of our 10-year socio-economic development plan, we have undertaken this project to make sure that the women, the 35 women in Bechua, are able to get alternative livelihoods. They're able to produce the products to the market in Obuasi. And we believe that once we've been able to establish the governance structure, forming the cooperatives to make sure that the people are able to go according to the principles and the rules that we set for them, we believe that this is just going to be the beginning, and we will continue to monitor them and ensure that the production and the vision as we have comes to fruition.
Obuasi West Municipal Chief Executive Fostilav Apia Kenin urged AGA to foster more innovation in rural communities to alleviate unemployment burdens. She also mentioned that the government plans to build a nursing training institute and recreational facility in the Obuasi West municipality.
When you go to Johannesburg, they've done a lot of things for South Africa, and so we are expecting more from them. We have so many communities in Obuasi, like I mentioned, in Tonsuya, Konfo Krase, and those areas. We need them, and we are begging them to do more for them.
And that's it for this segment. It's back to you, Emefa.
Thank you so much, Daryl. Bringing you more stories. At Lantingpa Basic School in the Northeast Gonja district, rise and dropouts have turned teachers into door-to-door campaigners, moving through the community each day, pleading with parents to send their children to school. Reports from Lantingpa in our education series, Crumbling Starts.
It's 10 a.m. at Lantingpa, a farming community in the Northeast Gonja district of the Savannah region. Inside the junior high school, the silence is deafening. The classrooms are nearly empty. Here, teachers do not just teach, they beg. Every morning, they come through the village, knocking on doors, pleading with parents to let their children come to school.
Sometimes you can come, some years are there, they will come 2, 3. The others will remain in town. You have to go and talk to them and they will come. And they can come at any time. So for that one, I know for sure they will come. For coming, they will come because we will talk to them. We will talk to them. And for sure, God willing, they will listen to us. They don't see the importance of education. So after junior high, and even let me say that maybe the parents too, don't see the need.
What we do is sensitization. That's what we do.
Now, quickly before we wrap the bulletin on our decks, my colleague Elton Bobe joins me to bring us updates on the response from the Attorney General to the petition by the suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo. Elton, what's the update?
So, this is just coming in. The AG, Dr. Dominic Kaine, in his response to the writ before the Supreme Court, in which the lawyer for the suspended Chief Justice, former Attorney General Kofi Edward, is demanding, among other things, that the entire process should be telecast live, and that motion has yet been moved. But the AG has responded even before the court will take a decision on it, and he's made certain points clear. One, the AG says in camera hearing is a constitutional command geared at safeguarding not only the CJ but the entire judiciary. It can therefore not be waived. Secondly, the AG says there is no basis in law for the 2 Supreme Court judges to be restrained from participating in the petition, specifically on Justice Samuel Adebuesi. The AG says he did not participate in the injunction hearing and can therefore not be precluded. On Justice Gabriel Kwaman, who is the chair of this 5-member committee, the AG argues his participation in cases put before the court by one of the petitioners cannot constitute evidence of bias. Remember that one of the petitioners is alleging bias on the part of the CJ, and we are told that this particular petitioner case that came before the Supreme Court, Justice Kwaman, who is chairing this 5-member committee, ruled in favor of this petition. And this petitioner has issues with the suspended Chief Justice, the reason why he's petitioning the president to remove her. And then the CJ is making the argument that already Justice Farmer has taken a position on that particular matter. So being on this government committee compromises that the AG argues that his participation in cases put before the court by one of the petitions cannot constitute evidence of bias. AG further says that the members of the committee have taken the necessary oath of office contrary to claims by the CG, and for that reason, the petition before the Supreme Court should be dismissed.
Right. Thank you, Elton. So this is basically the reaction from the Attorney General even before the court will sit on the matter. You want to stay with us later in our bulletin at 12. Join us today for more on this particular development. I'm MFA Akosi Adeti, and it'll be a wrap for the news desk today. See you at 12. For more news, log on to myzaraline.com.